Hello, powerful one. Welcome to this edition of Inner Growth with Osezuah Elimihe. I want to ask you, is there something you'll be putting all your effort at achieving and still, despite how hard you're working at it, you are not getting desired results? Maybe you've been doing it for weeks now. You'll be doing it for months, you'll be doing it for days or even years. You don't seem to be hitting these results. There is one thing I want you to bring into the game, and that thing is surrender. People have this wrong notion that surrender is giving up. No. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is coming to the realization that there is power within you that is capable of doing all things, and that power has your best interest at heart. No matter the difficulty you're facing, no matter how daunting the task is that you are to achieve, once you surrender to that power and say, my outer efforts have been massive, but they haven't produced the result. But I trust that you can make it happen in my favor. Please take over. And by surrendering, it doesn't mean you should stop your external effort. No. It doesn't mean you should fold your arms and do nothing. Not at all. Because there is no space for doing nothing in the entire universe of God. You have to keep doing what you're doing. But now it is that moment you take to break away and say, I have been doing it this way and haven't got the results. What is there for me right now? There must be a better way to do this thing. And I have not been able to capture the picture of that better way. Therefore, I am trusting this to you. Take over this show. I am willing to watch and learn in the process. That is the way of a high-performing life. In fact, every high-performing life out there, they are consistently surrendering to that inner power. They are not basing their success on what people might do for them or the help that's coming from outside. They are not depending on their intellect or their abilities solely. No, their ability is just the vehicle, but the engine that powers their ability is surrender. I am Osezuah Elimihe. You know me. I am in the game of helping you grow from inside out. That is the drill. Welcome back. So, my friend, the way up is inside. The solutions to all your external whatever problem is not abroad, it's above. And the way above, I repeat, is within. When you surrender, you are not surrendering to a God that is up there in the sky. You are not surrendering to an entity that is somewhere, someplace, some temple. No, you are surrendering to the omnipotence that is buried within you. Like the Apostle Paul will say, it is not who we go up and bring the Lord, or we go to the dead and raise him from the dead. No, he said, what say the scriptures? The word of faith is mighty even in thy mouth. If you will believe with your hearts and confess with your mouth, then you will have the result. In other words, change your belief about that thing you've been doing. You will find out when you surrender and call on help from the inside, you will be stunned that information about how you've been dealing with these things wrongly will start coming to you. You will realize that there is a belief that is sabotaging your efforts so far. You will realize it, and then you will change that belief. And once you change that belief, you'll be surprised that you have minimal effort and the result will come out. It may not be that you have a belief that is stopping you. It's possible there's an energy very close to you that is resisting your progress, and you depend so much on that energy. You will realize that it is time to let go of that energy. A lot of the failures I have experienced in life came from me depending on certain energies. Some people, when I was 18, when I lost my admission, when everything was on cue for me to get admission, I had over 18 marks above the cutoff for the course I was going to read, which was law then. Okay, but somehow by some machinations or something, I didn't get the admission. My father threw money at it. He gave money to somebody. So I know these things can be difficult sometimes, but please go and check from the university what is required for this boy to get it. Came back, said, truly the boy passed, he crossed the cutoff by 18 points. He should get it, but all the same, we still need to grease some palms. He asked, say, this is the amount of money. He gave it to the man to go and work on it. I never got admission. Then, when it became clear that this admission is not coming this year, I had to go and collect money from my dad to get another jam form for the next exam, so that I can get the next session. It was painful, it was hurtful. I was looking at the notice board where they released the result. That time they would release the names of the people admitted and the scores they had. Or how people that scored far below me getting admitted, but I wasn't admitted. I was distraught. And then there was this man who was looking at me. He came to me and said, what's your problem? I told him, he said, I will make you get this admission. I will put a wig on this head of yours. Come with me. He took me to the vice chancellor's office, talked to some people there, and he said he would do it for me. I was glad. But somewhere inside of me, there was this still small voice telling me, don't trust this guy. But because he was feeding into my desire to be admitted that year and not write that jam, I followed that thought. Took this man to my father's office. My father took all of us and my elder brother Lawson to eat. We have fun that day, we ate and everything. We're going back. The man asked for a certain amount of money that was given to him, and then we used to use postal orders to register jam. He collected it from me. He said, don't worry, it's done. I will see you next week. My brother Lawson called my father to caution. He said, let Tony get this jam. Don't give those postal orders to that man. Otherwise, he will lose 2 years as a result. Neither my dad nor I listened to my elder brother, and we went away. The man left. He said he will see us in 2 weeks' time. That was 1989. I have not seen the man till today, and I didn't get admitted, and I lost 2 years. Yeah. And then I made a discovery, and that discovery was put into these words. Then I said, never trust the promises of God to you on any human being. I said it and I wrote it down. And ever since, whenever I was up to something big, I was to do something, if I trusted human being to help me, and if that trust made me lose my original trajectory for that thing, I always didn't get the thing. Let me explain this. There are moments, epoch moments, or you call it epochal moments in the life of a human being. Those moments, you don't need any human being's assistance. Don't need to lean on any human beings in those moments. There are moments the human being needs to be alone by themselves and discover new strength within themselves that creates new possibilities within themselves in the external world. Now, when you can make use of those moments, the only way you can make use of those moments is to really trust in the universal power that has a local office within you, and then you lean on that power. Trust that that power has answers and solutions to all the questions and tasks before you. That is the surrender I'm talking about. Doing that alone, we wake up in you certain potential, and those potentials to be converted to possibilities, and those possibilities will be blinking their magnet, their light and their magnetism. And before you know what is happening, you become a magnetic personality. And what are you magneting? The things you believe in. These are the things that are necessary for you to get what you want. I have been to a meeting where a client took me to meet the marketing director and his team over a TV commercial that was to be shot. And they were thinking of taking it abroad to shoot. But the budget they had was not going to occupy that kind of dream, because airplane tickets will come in, a lot of people will fly, there will be hotels for some time. The thought was, should we hold it and later we do when the money is really there, or should we do now? But they felt they needed to do it then because there was a need to be filled in the marketplace for that. So the agency owner came to me and said, let's go see the clients and make a presentation and see how it goes. But he didn't tell me that we're just testing the ground. He just told me, you do this presentation to the client, and if they buy the idea you created, we'll move with it. I went for the presentation because I always told myself, any job that requires my presence before the client, before the hirer, I've got it. I always had that confidence. I always get so jobs. Sometimes I turn the jobs down because of the offer, not because I was rejected or told that I was not good enough by the client, by the hirer. On this occasion, I was going to meet the team. I went. We got there. And I made the presentation. I took my team with me. The art director was with me with all the plans, and then of course edit supervisor with me with ideas, all of those things. And I comboed all of them, presented them to the team. The man looked at me. He was very quiet throughout the presentation. He didn't say a word. We finished. He said, okay, they were going to deliberate. As I was walking past in the corridor, the marketing director and the client, my client now, which is the agency owner, were discussing on the staircase. Then as I was passing, the man now stopped. He was looking at me. He said, you know the funny thing, I've never met this young man before, but somehow looking at him, I have faith that he can do what he says he's going to do. So forget it, let's do it in Nigeria. That was all. Now we did it, and he loved it. When there was a need for them to do a reality TV show requiring lots of inputs, talking about hundreds of millions of naira right now, they got people to come and pitch. I wasn't invited by the marketing manager and the rest of them. When the man saw the presentation everybody was bringing, he wasn't satisfied. He said, why is Edoset Plus not part of this team? He said, well, he's into TV commercials, not really a reality TV show person. He said, well, get them to pitch, let's see. So they invited us officially, say, come pitch for this. They gave us the brief. I went to town, did a presentation with that same mentality that I am worthy of the job. We had two companies from South Africa, one from India, and another company from Europe. We went. Guess what happened? We, a local company, won it by a mile. We got the brief, we won it. And they were now told to please encourage the team that came second, the South African company that came second. Just find something to give them to do. We just want you to work with them because the ownership of this business is between Nigerians and Europeans. They want to see some white faces on the job. So what I did was to hand over to give out the post-production side to the South African people, and I told them, but I am the director, I have the final say, I will determine how it comes out. They said agreed, and we're on. But what happened was that along the line, something happened in the company, they had a crisis and the job wasn't done, was put on hold till now. I have got jobs without knowing anybody, without being anything special. You look at me right now, right? Skinny and all of that. But when it comes to my job, I approach it with confidence. I approach it like someone who knows what he's doing. I have always done that on the basis of faith in the absolute, that which is unreachable. But when I began to lose that because I started having people making promises to me of big things to be done, and I felt these things I wanted to do were bigger than I needed to lean on certain people. That was when the business began to crash, and it crashed totally in my face despite my best efforts, because my best effort was no longer of surrender to the powers within. It was now on surrender to the possibilities of what men of substance, men of class, men of influence could help me achieve. Don't ever put the promises of life to you on your own personal efforts, your intellect, your capabilities, your training, your level of exposure, your connections. Don't place it on the promises of people. Surrender it to that inner force, to that power. Some people lean on prayer houses. If it works for them, it works for them. Some people lean on certain places, charm places, shrines and all of that. If it works for them, it works for them. But this is one thing that does not go with such. The person fails to grow. They may have the money, they might have the after trappings, which is the success, but they will not have the fulfillment. They will not grow. Their capacity to solve on their own terms will be lost. So do not let the dream that you have be linked, be connected at the corridor of achievement on others. Let it be on the source. And that source is not up in the sky. It's not in there in some temples. It's within you. Learn to surrender to that power. It works magic. Ask me again. That's what I do. Lean on the absolute. Lean on the supreme. And believe that you are worthy enough to attract the attention and the companionship of that power and the partnership of that power, and see what happens to your life. The process of creating that relationship might be arduous at the start because you're not used to it, but hold on to it. the result will stun you. People might be laughing at you at the outset. Don't worry. Hold on. Stubbornly hold on. Commune with yourself. But these things will work more if you spend time with yourself and drop old habits that are not helping you. Habits that prevent you from self-introspection. Let them go and learn to spend time with yourself. Beware of social results. Beware of the news out there. They might tell you the society is getting bad, that the economy is this because of XYZ. It shouldn't affect you at all. Remember one thing, each time there is a recession, people get richer. How does that happen? Ask that question. If you find the answer, we'll be talking again next time. God bless you.